All right, who starts it this time?
Let's see. Welcome to the Pelican Jack Podcast. My name is Alex Ortiz. And this is...
I'm Devin Watkins. What up, you little tit lickers? It's time to talk shit and get lit.
Yeah, we're definitely I'm going to need to write that. We're going to have to write that one out again.
All right, let's try it again for the top.
Take it from the top. Hold on. All right. Welcome to the Pelican Jack Podcast. This is Alex Ortiz, and over here is my friend
Devin Watkins. What up, you little cat scratchers?
Ooh.
It's time to talk shit and get lit.
Hey, let's do it. All righty, Pelican Jack. This is what episode... that's what part I should have put in the
17, yeah.
17.
Episode 17.
Mm.
That's what we're calling it. We're calling it what it's actually called so we don't get confused.
True. But that's a good number, bro. That's a pretty good number so far. We've done 17 of these things. Or about to do 17 of these things.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
So we're getting there. I definitely noticing a lot of things that I'm already doing a little bit better from the first ones.
Talking directly into the mic.
Yeah, that too. For sure. Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, you had to see it for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Had to see it for myself. Just working on just delivery, energy, inflection. I felt like there was times where for me personally, I felt like I was trying too hard to look like I was comfortable and calm, but it was just like flat and kind of boring, low energy.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to definitely pick up the energy a little bit, as far as I don't know, sound like I'm interested in the conversation.
Yeah,
right. That type of stuff. But yeah, I was doing some review. I'm definitely liking it, man. It was definitely interesting. It was cool. Rob had already commented on it after we had posted an episode after. And I was thinking about it. I was like, yo, for Rob, it's like almost a chance for him to hang out with us. Right? Because with the distance, he doesn't get to talk to,
all of our friends.
Yeah.
Like,
so
what's going on with these guys? Well, we can watch.
Yeah, it's documented.
They had a conversation for a couple hours. Did they talk about us?
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance they did.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, yeah, because he could just sit there and, like, just pick our brains. And I know there's plenty of times when I'm listening to a podcast and I'm, like, verbalizing out loud, like, commenting on whatever they're talking about on the podcast, even though obviously they can't hear me or anything. But I'm like, oh, my God, shut the fuck up or some shit like that if I hear something silly or just be laughing or whatever. Just, like, almost involved with the conversation. So I was thinking, I was like, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool that Rob, especially since he's so far away, he doesn't get to see us very often. So I thought it was pretty cool. You get to hang out for a little bit.
I got a snap this past week. My buddy Austin up in Michigan.
Do I know Austin?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. What's he got going on?
Well, he was driving in the snap, and he was listening to my demo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Dang, that's what's up.
And then Andrew texted me the other day and said that the song "Letter to the Weather" gave him chills when he listened to it.
Dang.
The second song that I've written that's done that to him. So
ooh,
it's pretty exciting. It's a nice thing to hear.
Yeah, for sure. That's what's up, man.
That's how you know it works.
I've got it on my iTunes. I've given it a couple listens as well.
Oh yeah. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, Apple Music, fucking anywhere you want to get it. You can buy it if you want on Bandcamp. You don't have to, but it is available. It's like 99 cents a song, $2.99 for the whole demo. So, maybe at some point we get some merch or something out there.
There's no discount for buying the whole demo?
Nah, it's fucking 3 songs, dude. 3 songs, $3. Maybe I'll make it $1.99 for the demo.
Because it feels like some sort of discount.
Yeah. No, I wasn't trying to mislead anybody.
Or at least that was the expectation. That's what normally happens in that situation.
I feel maybe I make it 249.
There's like 249 be perfect.
249 for the demo. Boom, you want all three? Just fucking try it out.
But yeah, it's definitely solid. What are your plans next? What are you doing? You still working on things right now? What do you got going on?
Yeah,
right now?
I'm working on my second effort. I'm gonna do demos for an EP, and I'm gonna see if I can get in touch with some people to help me out on this one. So
I was just gonna say, you got any collaborations in the works
not necessarily
that weren't already there since you released?
right.
Okay. But any buzz
But
that way?
I do have some ideas for some people that I want to reach out to and see what they think and see if I can afford it. So
Okay. Ooh, afford it. I see what you're saying. That does tend to get a little pricey.
yep. But you know, I made some good connections over the years, and I should be able to work something out.
I remember I recorded that one track at that one guy's house.
That one track at that one guy's house.
It was JP.
Uh-huh.
Remember you were over there too.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that song was. I don't even know where that song is.
I don't remember the track.
I kind of remember the lyrics a little bit if I thought about it, but yeah, I don't remember where that track is. It might be on my Google OneDrive. I have to look. I found like the whole So Sick Click mixtape and stuff on there. That shit was dope. Or no, I think I got it from Rob and I added it to it. But yeah, I listened to that. Yo, I was like, yo, this shit was slick, all right. It was slick, all right. Oh shit, I don't remember if I talked about this already. But yeah, it was slick, all right. I was like, damn, we were killing it back in the day for what we were, especially. It was solid. It was fun. I definitely had a good time reminiscing on just the whole like recording process, camaraderie process, and shit like that. And then there was definitely some like regrets as far as just not keep continuing, following through, just the way it handled relationships, maybe even stuff like that. But it was definitely cool to look back. It was fun. It's definitely fun. But it definitely inspired me. I was thinking about probably taking my mic home in between episodes because I might be doing some things, just messing around for now anyway.
Yeah, and make sure you get this interface too.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna need that too. Need to figure all that
Then
shit out.
you can record tracks with that software. You should be able to even like program some beats and stuff. So just play around with it and
Yeah, for sure. For sure, I got time right now.
see what you can do, man.
Even though we've been extra busy at work, bro.
Well, you're about to not be at work, so.
True.
What's the date on that? It's coming up, right? April?
Yeah. April 15th.
God damn, man. That's like still a month away every time I hear it.
Yo. I feel you, bro. I fucking feel you, bro. It's been like...
This dude put in like a 6-month notice. It's like my boss, too. My boss at work right now. So, like the last quarter of last year, we had a meeting and he was going to leave. And he's still there.
It's like they want him to stay. Lance wanted me to stay, too. But I might do something part-time at one of the stores. But we'll see. I gotta figure out where I'm staying. I've actually almost ironed it out, but the whole Corona thing is kind of throwing the whole plan off the place.
Corona's fucking some shit up right now.
Playing that by ear at the moment.
I'm not gonna get my promotion that I'm supposed to be getting, probably because of Corona.
Damn.
I mean, unless my boss just leaves, because they're gonna need someone to do it. So
yeah,
I know I'm not doing it for what I'm making now.
I feel you on that.
But I don't think they would ask me to either. So.
They gotta give you that guapo.
They've been pretty alright so far, so.
But it's gonna end at some point. It's gonna pick back up. The whole Corona thing. It's gonna blow over sooner or later.
Yeah? Well.
So
probably later.
How late? What is your time frame for later? Later.
It just depends on what
You
we
talking
do.
about like 6 months or
if,
like 2 years?
If we keep doing this, we're looking at like 2 years, sure. But if we actually just stop for a few months,
that's the thing. Is that well, it's definitely possible, but is it plausible? Is it gonna really happen?
it's because the dollar is more powerful than human life.
Yeah. Even this little stimulus package is a giant giveaway to corporations and banks and
Where
stuff.
did we find the money?
And like a small, like a third of
How
it
are
is
we able
actually
to
going
extend
people.
Medicare to everybody? Those things couldn't be done. All these people are working from home. It can't be done.
It's happening. Shoot, what was I gonna say? And they still are probably gonna have to do things like waive rents and mortgages and stuff for a few months.
Yeah, I fucking hope so.
So
I mean, other countries have already done it, and now we're number one, so.
we're at the number one if I can getting the most out of everyone involved. This right here, I can't remember the brand, but it's a Belgian Abbey Ale, dark brown ale. It's pretty good. It's got some some caramel tones and some oaky flavor.
It's pretty rich, dark, bitter beer.
I don't find it that bitter, but I drink like compared to an IPA. You know, IPA those are bitter to me.
Yeah.
But to me, this, if the IPA is on that scale of bitter, this is like almost not bitter.
This is like a burnt bitter.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I think Kristen did mention something about like almost burnt caramel earlier. So yeah, I could see that. I don't know. I've enjoyed it actually. Different anyway. Different little change up. Do you think stuff like that is closer to what was produced, let's say, like 1600s?
Who knows, man? I mean, maybe somebody does.
Or
but
more meads?
I haven't been able to pay attention to those kind of things so far in my life.
I've been watching some more period pieces recently. I just watched The Tudors on Netflix, and that's pretty cool. It was originally an HBO show.
Uh-huh.
And it's got this one actor. I can't remember his freaking name. Let me just look up his name. It'll be much simpler that way.
Timothy Chalamet.
No idea. But anyway, the show was is following King Henry VIII.
Uh-huh.
And
he had a bunch of wives, didn't he? Did he
yes,
kill 'em
he
all?
had like 6 wives. Most of them, one died of natural causes. Catherine, they was said that Catherine was poisoned, but not necessarily by Henry VIII. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers is who plays Henry VIII in this. He is. Let's see what else he does. I'll look.
I also don't remember saying a song about Henry VIII in kindergarten in front of the whole class, but my mother tells me that I did.
He was in the Dracula. He's in Vikings. The Mortal Instruments. Let me just show you his face. This motherfucker.
I think I heard of that. Who could be here?
All right, this guy. But anyway, I'll see if I can throw a picture up on the video when we're doing a Jonathan.
Yeah, I don't know
Rhys-Meyers
if I've ever seen that guy before.
He's the main character. Oh, but what I was going to talk about was interesting. Where a perspective of that era that I didn't think of. Like he's kind of known for he's known as like the father of the English Navy. He kind of like birthed like building up that huge navy as an island nation. And that was like the very beginning of it. But then he was also known at this time. This is when like Italy was still in a bunch of like little city states, and the papal state where Rome was and the Pope had a lot of religious power in the Catholic religion over all the European monarchs. And the Pope had to like approve marriages and all this stuff. But anyway, Henry VIII was also the first one to kind of start bringing about reform. And then they had translated some of the books. At this time, everything was still in Latin, and only the priests could even read the Bible at this time. Still, they were kind of holding it from everybody.
Right.
And then
Some of the priests couldn't read it.
Mm-hmm. So then, they started translating it into English languages, so more common people could read it. But then he still tried to keep he tried to go halfway with it. But it was like once you went halfway, someone described it in the show perfectly. They were like, it's like he threw someone off of a tower and then like asked them to stop halfway from falling down. It's like once you put it in the language for them to read for themselves, like then it's going to be a lot harder for the Catholic Church to have all that power over everyone. And like the superstition, the ritual, all that stuff, like none of that's really in the Bible, you know. So that made that, but he was trying to like kind of stop it halfway, and just keep like his own sovereign authority over the religion. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I didn't think about that time period or how that came about, or the correlation between. Anything that I've seen, it's always an isolated view, like showing like Italy and stuff. But I guess I've seen enough things to where when I see other things here, now I've got this other group of information playing in, and it's starting to piece together, and I'm getting a bigger picture, I guess, of like history and how things were going down. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm starting to see more connections. And how all them kings and queens from like all these, they were all like fucking related, dude. They were like all the same families.
Yeah.
Marrying into each other, related to each other.
That's why they're all fucked up and crazy.
Dude, the fucking medical practices back then were sick.
They didn't even know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, we're just gonna we're just gonna cut you, let you bleed a little bit.
Bloodletting like in the spine. This nigga was tapping the spine. I'm like, oh my god, what is happening here?
That'll get your what are they? There's like 4 like sort of essences they thought were in the body or some shit. I can't remember what they call them.
I don't even know. But and then like just everything was deadly. Sweating, sickness, pox, everything's plague in the city again, Your Highness. Got a little bit of plague again. And then he just like rides out on horseback and goes to like one of his palaces somewhere till the plague goes away and then comes back. I was like, geez, living back then, even like living in a castle, like if you have health issues, you're still just as fucked as anybody else. You know, even if you're super rich, even if you're the king, like, because there was just nothing to be done. They didn't know enough. I don't even know if they really knew about germs back then. No, they didn't know shit about germs. There was still a lot of religious superstition too, like God's punishing us for being sinners, stuff like that. So I don't remember where I was going with that at all. Just kind of being a nerd, a little period piece nerd.
I see.
Yes. Anyway, let's get into we got any do you have a Pelican Jack of the week or a You Ever Wonder this week?
I do have You Ever Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I have a Pelican Jack of the week.
Okay. Go ahead with the You Ever Wonder. I've got a Pelican Jack of the week.
Okay. You ever wonder why we have a Sunday sale restriction on alcohol here in Georgia?
Yeah.
Or maybe in your own state, wherever you are. In Georgia, it used to be you couldn't buy alcohol on a Sunday. Is that correct?
Yeah, you couldn't buy anything on a Sunday. I know in some places you just couldn't buy liquor on a Sunday, but you could still buy like beer and maybe a light wine.
I think it's county to county here.
But there are still some dry counties.
Yeah.
But there was definitely no Sunday sales. Bootlegging was big for a long time. Bootlegging, dude, on a Sunday, if you had beer, you had mad power. Shit, they got 36 packs of Bud Light down here in Georgia.
Buy a bunch of them on Saturday night.
Because I remember my friends from Ohio, they didn't have 36 packs in Ohio. They were like, "What? Y'all got 36 packs?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is a fucking suitcase, dog. A fucking suitcase of beer." But shoot, where was we going?
Well, today I was at the store and we picked up some tonic water among other groceries. Some Angostura bitters. We have some orange bitters. We want some Angostura bitters because there's some cocktails that require it.
And it's Angus what?
Angostura bitters.
Angostura. What is that? Is that a fruit?
I have
Flower?
no idea what it is. Probably like some botanicals and
Some sort of concoction from the Middle Ages.
Anyway, like productive adults, we were there at like 10:30 in the morning or whatever. It might have been a little after 11 at this point because we stopped at Aldi first.
Okay.
And we get like the boop, boop, boop. Someone will be there to assist you.
Oh, when you're
I'm
leaving
like, huh.
or when you're coming in?
No, while we're checking out.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. Self-checkout?
We're at the self-checkout, yeah.
Okay,
And then our screen pops up. And we're like, why? I was like, well, I guess Angostura bitters are made with alcohol. So maybe that's why. They need to see our ID. And they're like, oh, sorry, you can't buy that. You just got it. It's not 12:30. And I thought to myself, and I also thought to everybody in the near vicinity of me, why?
Mm-hmm. Go on.
I have a bunch of liquor at home. I've got a kegerator. I've got wine. I've got all this alcohol at home that I can drink before 12:30. So why is it that I can't buy any?
Or buy just some bitters.
Yeah.
Just a little sidekick to an alcoholic beverage.
And Kristen made a good point as well. They wouldn't have any problem with us buying like vanilla or almond extract. That's alcohol.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah. I guess nobody's drinking enough of that to get drunk. I don't know.
But nobody's drinking bitters either.
I don't know about the percentages, how much is in each. You know what I'm saying? It could be the difference. I don't know if there's like a cutoff factor or like a specific.
It's like 40%
amount. But I mean, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
The point is, do you ever wonder how many people got into heaven today because I couldn't buy those Angostura bitters before 12:30 p.m.? Do you think it was 100?
That is an excellent take.
Was it a million?
Excellent take on that.
I can't think of any other reason besides some fucking Christians.
Well, yeah, because the whole thing that you couldn't even get it on Sundays, it's all a religious practice, which is interesting because it's done into law. It's supposed to be secular government, but these are definitely hugely, obviously, religiously influenced legislation.
Yeah, I mean, everything's heavily religiously influenced. Like, what is today's date? Right?
Isn't that a Julian calendar?
It's AD.
Oh, after death. They changed that.
Anno Domini, in the year of the Lord.
But they changed that though recently, like BCE.
BCE is before the Common Era, and CE Common Era.
Yeah. Scientists have changed because with that specifically in mind.
Right.
But it's still changing. At
like
the
we
same,
still use the
same
point. Dates.
Yeah, it's still the same apex point.
Yeah, it's from this is when Jesus was born. Is what
but at some point, it's just easier to just stick with that. You know what I'm saying? Because then where do you switch? Then where do you start from?
Yeah.
So
there's been a lot of calendars. And
that's just this
has been a pretty good one.
Yeah. We'll just start from there and count up. Otherwise,
every 4 years we have an extra day.
What would we do like year 400,072? Like where are we gonna go to start from?
Yeah, we're just gonna
like back to like the
6
when we come
billion.
from the trees. We come out of the trees into the plains. Is that where we're gonna start from? Year 1.
When we make it on land.
Yeah, from out of the oceans. Where we start from? So
When the Earth formed.
that makes sense. It just, and then our brains can just only even fathom so much.
Right.
We can't really wrap our head around 400,000 years of time. You know what I'm saying? Because we think a couple years ago is a long time. Or if you have to wait 10 minutes for food at fast food, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really think that shit is nothing to like the galaxy or the universe and shit, millions and hundreds of millions of years. Fucking bleeps. We're just little bleeps. Over here thinking we're the shit though. Worried about what happens after we die. Almost a it's almost like religion is almost like a narcissistic like eventuality. Once we became conscious, there just had to be a reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a way to explain a lot of things
to,
that we didn't understand, and we're superstitious creatures. I mean, we see things, and we try to apply cause and effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
We try to, okay, this happened. Why did that happen? And before we had any, reasonable way of coming to an honest conclusion, sometimes we made some faulty assumptions.
Mm-hmm. But just think how many religions there are, or that there have been, that have died out and stuff.
Yeah.
And so if you're saying the only difference between, I heard this point made the other day, I forget who somebody quoted it from somebody else. I don't remember either of the quotes, but I'm going to butcher the quote that it is as well. But basically the only difference between an atheist and a Christian is like one religion.
I believe that was, it might have been Dawkins.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I believe in one less God than you do.
Yeah.
There are thousands of gods.
Mm-hmm, that I don't believe in. I just believe in one less.
Yeah.
So, definitely an interesting point, interesting way to look at it.
And how do you know you got the right one?
Everyone says they got the right one, though, huh?
They're all mutually exclusive, and it's like, well, not saying that there isn't a God. I just don't think that anybody.
How did the other ones die out? Like the Greek religions, did the Roman religion
books were burned and people were.
Did the Roman religion just die with the fall of Rome?
Christianity killed it. Because the Romans took Christianity up.
Because isn't the Roman religion basically a knockoff of the Greek religion anyway, right?
Yeah, they're the same, essentially.
They just changed names, really.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to let the Greeks have it.
Zeus,
they took over the
Jupiter.
Greeks, and they were like, "Nah, we like what you got going, but we're changing all the names."
Yeah.
It's basically the same thing. Because it was like the God of War, everything was the same, just that they changed the names.
Ares, Mars.
Mm-hmm. But interestingly, man, imagine you're the guy who finds like correlations in the stars and like figures that shit out. And
Or you figure out that the Earth is actually going around the sun.
Ooh, yeah, and that the sun is not like.
And then they're like, "Fuck no, it isn't. We're gonna kill you."
Yeah. They thought what's his name was fucking dragging the sun across the sky every day. What's his name? Hermes?
Apollo?
Oh, Apollo. Yeah, you're right. That's who it was. Apollo. He's fucking dragging. That's like his job is to pull the sun around the fucking place. Like, just completely made up. Just completely 1,000,000,000% made up. But I guess that's what I was saying, like that narcissicity, like the religion is like the eventuality of, like they're having to be.
There's a lot of religions that have some pretty human gods.
Yeah, they all have human flaws too. A lot of them. Even God gets angry.
Jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spiteful.
Ooh, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that's not to say there isn't a God.
No, that isn't to say that either.
Or to really define what God is, because it's been called a lot of things over the years. So it gets really, to begin to have those kind of conversations, you need to sit down and define what your terms are, so that you both understand what each other is saying.
That would be forever for some people.
Well,
that's where the conversation would
it used to take a long
man.
time. You would write down what your thoughts were, and you would write down definitions for any word that you used that might be misunderstood. Or if it is misunderstood, they write you back and say, I'm not really clear on what you meant by this. And then you answer back.
But if there's no agreement on certain, what if there's a lot of times, like, especially I feel like there's just no agreement on the terms, or like,
yeah, that then you
some
have to agree
people's
to disagree
definitions are so
point.
flexible that there's no way to even make an argument against it. You know what I'm saying?
You have to have stricter terms. That's all. Good ideas beat good ideas, or bad ideas rather.
Yeah.
And what we believe today is going to be wrong in another 100 years. So we're just doing the best we can at the time. That's one thing that I think that gets lost when we think about the past. Like, we think about how bad all those things are from our perspective, but those people didn't have our perspective.
Oh, yeah.
We're like almost incomprehensibly progressive to them.
And everything was pretty scary when, like, people just die all of a sudden. You just have no idea why.
They didn't have all the foundations of knowledge that we have. Like, everything we know is because of things that they learned through
the hard way.
Yeah.
And they went through a lot of the hard way before they ever figured out better way.
And there's things that people learned after them that we know that they never knew. Like, their worldview is different. There were a lot of smart people that made some pretty good arguments for slavery.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because they were evil.
Maybe not.
Not at their time.
They probably didn't think. I see what you're trying to say. There probably wasn't malicious intent. Their viewpoint was so different than ours that it's hard for us to understand them thinking that that's just the logical deduction of how things should be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they thought that it was apparent. Like, you look around and you see that, I'm conflating different times, but there have been a lot of arguments over a lot of years. Like, the Greeks had slaves, right? There's been slavery for a long time. And they just, thought that you look around and you see that some people are better suited for manual labor and some people are better suited for thinking and ruling. And they thought that was obvious.
Which actually is not wrong. Just the slavery part is wrong. Not everybody is meant to be a leader.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily need to be a ruler.
They thought, well, how can you have a contract when, like, you can't ever disagree to the contract after the fact? Like, you can't ever change your mind.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, the idea, the initial thought, like, oh, some people are better leaders and some people are better, manual laborers, followers, is true. But
yeah,
you don't need them. They don't need to be slaves, and you don't need to be a king either. Shit
right.
like that.
But they did think that the philosopher king was like the best
way to do it.
System of government. Yeah, and then that would devolve into an oligarchy, and then that would devolve into tyranny, I think, and then that would devolve into democracy. And that's what they thought from best to worst governments were.
Democracy being the worst?
It is either the worst or the second worst. I can't remember if it was better or worse than tyranny. Maybe better than tyranny.
Well, we almost have a... It's harder to describe what we have, actually.
We have a democratic republic.
For all intents and purposes.
A democratic socialist republic.
That's got strong elements of
socialist capitalist
oligarchical
republic
influences.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean
strongly.
it is ruled by the few in relative to the actual population.
And the wealthy.
Right, they're the ones that can they're the ones that can afford to put their names out there.
Yeah, but that's also the system that they set up as well. That
Right.
you have to be extra wealthy.
I
to
don't
get
know
your
if that
name
was
out there.
always the case.
Mm.
I mean, I'm sure if you could afford a horse and a wagon, then you could go around from town to town and shake hands and stuff. But
Yeah,
like it wasn't always
you didn't have to buy television ads back in the
this
day.
way. Yeah,
You could just run newsprint
you could do
in
that.
different cities,
you know.
which would still cost money, but probably wouldn't be overall like what they're they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars in campaigns. That's insane amounts of money. I mean, just preposterous if you really think about it. And our election cycle's too long.
Yeah, it's always an election year.
It's like over a fucking year long, dude. That doesn't even make any sense.
It's just constant. By the time someone's elected, you're already thinking about the next election. So
Holy shit. Especially like the senators.
it's
and
too
stuff.
much. It's too much.
They need to cut the election cycle in half. No, you don't start campaigning till this. You better have a platform ready. You better have all this shit
you get
ready.
6 months.
Yeah, you better have everything you need ready to run. No, just figuring out your shit as you go over a year and a half. You know, putting your thumb in the wind, seeing where the wind goes. You have a fucking platform. You see what happens. We vote.
Yeah,
And we
you
move
got
on.
governing to do. So
Yeah. But the whole system is corrupted in like every angle. Politicians, they've done the math. They literally spend a majority of their time making phone calls, raising money. That's what they spend a majority, like 4 or 5 hours a day, just making phone calls, collecting money. That's all they do. That's insane. And then you think you got lunches, and then a couple meetings where you're just chit chatting, and then you know how it is in corporate, 9 to 5 life. There's all kind of just like milling about in between things, waiting for things to happen. Well, we got a meeting at 2, and so it's only 1:15, so we're just hanging out till 2. You know what I'm saying? So, thinking about that, thinking about the 34, 35-hour work week, shorter work weeks, even a 32-hour work week, even.
If we worked, I mean, if the people that could work from home could work from home, if you just made the work environment as comfortable as possible for your employees and only had them work when they needed to work,
Mm-hmm.
and still pay them the same amount that you're paying them, they would be so much better. Like, they would be happier, they would be more productive.
Well, yeah, that's the idea. You could work one less day, but then there'd be, like I was talking about, like the in-between times or like water cooler. You would just be more effective during those 32 hours. Like, I don't have 40 hours. I got to get all the same amount of work done in 32. So I get paid the same.
There's a lot of people who are just sitting down on their ass, just like waiting for something to happen. They're just there because they're being paid to be there.
Mm-hmm. And they could be somewhere else being much happier.
They could be doing, they could be following a pursuit in their spare time.
Mm-hmm. Any number of things. But anyway, the idea being that you don't need to give 40 hours of your life every week for things to still, like, that's what we have set. And so I feel like a lot of people get really stuck and rigid in the, like, this is how it is for a reason.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
this is the best way to do it. There's a reason why we do it this way.
That's kind of what the dichotomy is. The right likes things from tradition and the left likes progress.
Yeah.
Traditionally. Now there's both kind of like different than that.
We've got a problem where both
something different is going to come up the middle.
Well, on the federal level at least, there's so much corruption going on. It's baked into the law, like basically with campaign. It's like legal bribery. It's legalized bribery essentially. So it's hard to really delineate a left and right when they have the same funding people behind them.
Well, that we're going to have a third thing that comes up the middle.
The whole problem, no.
That people on both sides who are just like, can I get something reasonable?
Yeah, so there should be at least 4. There should be at least 2 left-wing parties and one towards
But
the
it's
center, and
it's
two
just
right wing parties, and one towards the center, and then one.
it's just taking the bullshitters and splitting them into two camps. I'm talking about getting some brand new people to come up the middle that everyone can rally around it, to a degree.
What I'm saying is the whole idea of two parties representing everything is not even a plausible idea.
Right.
There's too much variance in left wing thinking, and there's too much variance in right wing thinking to have one candidate represent all of this in a. So I guess I'm saying more of a parliamentary style. I think is better because you'll get more viewpoints, and then like if you got a parliamentary style, then the people who are on like the left, they're like, hey, we'll vote with you, but you have to form a coalition with us. Like, if you want these votes, we've got 27 votes here.
So it'd be like the
so
left
you have to give us concessions.
and the left and the right, which is what we have right now.
Well, we've only got two parties, and so in the middle, the establishment, they've got enough established control to where they can ignore the fringes when they want to. Like the establishment on the left ignores the fringes, and same on the right. And I'm not saying that's necessarily rightfully so or wrongfully so, but the system is set up to where they don't have to listen to you. Like, we know that on the right you're going to have Christian conservative people that are just going to vote for you just because that's where they fall in. It doesn't actually matter what your policies are. And it's the same thing on the left with like the minority votes and the liberal votes, and like just like if you're LGBTQ, you've got these people already baked in, so you don't really have to listen to them anymore, or that specifically, because they're going to vote for you regardless. And that's partially our fault as voters for being that way and letting them take advantage of us. Because as soon as you say vote blue no matter who, it doesn't matter who they put on the ticket then, right? They don't have to listen to anybody because you just said you're going to vote blue no matter who.
Right. And that's the same thing that you've been mad at the Republicans for a couple of decades.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's what I was saying. Like, I may not vote. You don't represent me, and I don't want to just give you my vote just because you're on the left, because then you don't have to listen to me. You can fearmonger and just say, well, I don't want Trump, and then all you are is just a slightly less bad version, but still just as corrupt.
I would say find a candidate that you can get behind and write them in.
Yeah.
Not exercising your right to vote.
Well, I could still show up and just vote for other things that I do have people or issues that I support, because there'll still be like some local stuff and whatnot on the ballot, I believe. I may not be 100% on that. I'm not a super experienced.
There should be.
But if there's no candidate that I want for the presidential section, I'm not just going to vote for somebody just because I feel like I should vote for somebody.
Right.
And this person's in the general vague ballpark of, you know what I'm saying? So I guess I'll vote for him.
I mean, there should be somebody in the world that you think would be.
If you only got two options, what are the odds?
No, you can write in a candidate.
Yeah, you can write in a candidate, but I mean, the idea being either way, it's the same thing as not vote. As long as you don't vote for them, you're establishing
one
the
is
same
not
concept.
voting and one is voting for somebody who's not likely to win.
Yeah, but what if there's nobody who's left to write in? Like, I can just write in anybody's name, but
right.
I don't know. I don't know how much that actually does for the system. But I see what you're saying, though. But
one is taking no action and one is
mm-hmm.
taking an action, even though there might not be a desired immediate response.
Mm-hmm. I suppose. I don't even know who I would vote for at this point. I'm starting to... The more I pay attention and the more I take off of, like, the rose-colored lens of, like, the party politics and just vote, I'm just like, you know what? You're all starting to get on my fucking nerves. I'm starting to see this is all just, like, WWE for us, while y'all keep running out the back with all the money bags. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this shit is just kabuki theater.
Yeah. I mean, just stop watching CNN and MSNBC and Fox News and
But not even just the news, the politicians themselves. They're
Right,
all pretending to disagree, but then all voting.
You're only going to see it if you look at it.
Hmm?
You're only going to see it if you look at it.
Well, yeah, because we should be paying attention. It's not a good thing for it to be a kabuki theater.
Right, but we don't have to always pay attention.
Why not? Why would you? What is that not your responsibility as a citizen?
To pay attention 24/7?
What do you mean to pay attention, period? I mean, I would say most people aren't really paying attention at all, or they just tune in to CNN and then they get, or wherever you tune into, even if whatever the source is, you don't really have a knowledge of the issues and the ins and outs of an issue. You get a lot of people, read headlines. Well, such and such said this or this, this and this is true. And then they read the articles. The article itself disproves the headline source, but nobody reads the headline. People are super uninformed is basically the whole point. So you're trying to, it's like your straw man argument. My mind isn't saying you need to pay attention 24/7, but the point is, for the most part, people really aren't paying attention at all. People really don't understand what the fuck we're doing foreign policy wise. People really don't know what the hell is going on healthcare wise. People haven't looked into people's policies. The average person. And that's part of our responsibility as citizens when we go cast a vote, to know what the fuck we're talking about too, or know some of the issues.
We can only know what's
public.
Pick
a issue. Yeah, but there's tons of.
There's a
people
problem
don't
with
even
classified information.
I'm not even talking about classified
okay,
information.
But you are.
I'm talking about policies, like foreign policy, or even just financial policy, healthcare policy.
Which
people don't even know what the options are, or what really is. They only get the.
Which is my point. There's information that isn't available to everybody, which is part of the problem.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
so people can't make an informed decision if they don't have all of the information.
Yeah, but there's enough information out there that people can make a much more informed decision on a lot of these issues than they're making currently. I understand what you're saying. You need all the facts, potentially, but there's different levels to what's happening, and there's specific issues that's not really affecting as classified information isn't affecting as much. Especially foreign policy, I could definitely see what you're referring to.
And then there's still the problem where I wasn't making a straw man argument or even attacking your argument. I'm just saying that it's not good for people to constantly pay attention to the news when there's not always news.
I'm not saying news. I'm saying understanding policy. I'm saying like what is our policy? People like do we have an anti-aggression policy? There's not even like a stance out there. There's not like, what I'm saying, we don't even know enough about what's happening to even like say what we are or what is our foreign policy. We back out of agreement. Trump gets in, we back out of agreements all the time. Other countries don't know what our foreign policy is.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't honestly tell you where we stand on a lot of the issues.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying is a big problem. So that's what I'm trying to get more into that. I'm not even saying like I'm perfect and I know everything about all these issues. Definitely don't get me wrong on that. I'm not trying to play like the saint here.
Yeah, I mean, every source has an agenda, so it's impossible.
That's another thing too.
To get unbiased information. Not impossible. It's
that's
just
our job as well to be
not
able
possible to get it from these sources that we get it from.
Or that's almost like a skill that we have to develop in the modern age to be able to collect information and be able to filter out the agenda or propagandized parts of it and get the facts and put pieces together and see. And sometimes a lot of it just doesn't even logically make any sense. Like if you just sit back
that's when
and you're just like, wait, what did they just say on the news? If I think that doesn't even make any sense at all, but most people don't even think that far into it to like logic. Like, wait, huh? Like, wait, if we're doing this, then that doesn't even make any,
Yeah, when the faulty information is necessarily in what they're telling us. Like, this is only true if this faulty information is true. So then it's hard to separate that out because you're already operating on the premise that this thing is true.
Or even just the way they frame an issue.
For any of this story to even be in front of you to look at,
Just the way they frame something or even the tonality There's
Right.
all sorts of assumptions that are just like automatically interjected into like even the way they ask a question to someone. Like there's like an assumption of well everyone knows this, so why do you think this? I'm like, wait. And sometimes people need to get a lot better about I don't agree with the framing of I'm gonna roll back the framing of your question, because if I accept it, there's a bunch of assumptions I've already accepted just by accepting your framing without even saying anything. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get better about being more diligent about the framing of issues and the framing of questions. And when we know that there's some misinformation or a viewpoint that's like trying to be pushed off as fact, that's really just opinion. Like as far as electability, like, oh well, everyone knows Bernie Sanders is not electable. I'm like, well,
No,
that's your
everybody
opinion.
doesn't know that.
But they're believing
he's
it
pretty
now.
wildly popular in my group.
Exactly. But there's a large section of voters who are believing that Bernie Sanders is not electable because that's what they hear on the news day in and
they're
day
like,
out.
yeah, Joe Biden, we can.
Yeah, he's
get
someone who's
behind that.
electable. But they're saying it, they're framing it as if that's fact, even though that's opinion.
Guy can't even put a sentence together.
And that's what I'm talking about, like framing. Like there's so many assumptions put into just the way they're framing issues or framing questions that have to be corrected before we even talk about an issue. Even just to get the conversation started. A lot of times. Anyway, I digress. Well, I don't even remember how we got so deep into this.
I don't either.
It's definitely interesting to take a deep dive sometimes. I've been taking more deep dives. Becoming awakened. My third eye is opening. My third eye is opening. But I'm definitely not like a huge conspiracy person as far as like the cabal of like 14 people in a room controlling the world.
No, I mean, but a lot of
I
these
just think there's
ideas
just so much corruption.
have existed for a long time, and they're like at their very base.
The systems are set up to where the people just the wealthy people can just influence everything to their benefit, and we're starting to see that. So as far as framing, when people say like capitalism or socialism, well, we don't have. Let's fix the framing of that, because you're butting them two together, but there's no 100% capitalist. Like we have regulations, so we're not 100% capitalistic. But we do have some social programs too, like firemen, police. So I feel like there's so much loaded into the words itself, the way that we're using them even. Like people just say socialist as like a derogatory word.
Yeah, I mean, like that's
that's
the basis for our podcast.
Or as
if you just say Pelican Jack, it doesn't mean anything. But if you say it at a certain kind of person over and over again, well, it starts being that. So,
but shit, I forgot where I was going. But yeah, just the way it's just crazy. Like capitalism is almost spoken of like it's a religion. Like we're a capitalist nation here. I'm like, wait, what are you talking? No, nobody's suggesting that the government make Nikes, And then so we already have. I just feel like the conversations get way too polarized, and we're not even using the words right. We can't even have an honest conversation because there's so much loaded in just even the words.
That's what happens. We make leaps of faith in our beliefs every day, over and over again, and some people don't think about them, and after a while they start going to pretty crazy places without them even noticing.
Oh, another point that we're not like when I guess it ties into the point that I was saying about us not knowing about policy. We're too worried about like finding a cult of personality to get behind instead of just like specific issues and pushing specific issues. Like you don't necessarily have to re-elect the senator you have. You can just push him and be like, hey, on this issue that's coming up to vote right now, we want you to vote this way. Where your constituency, obviously there's going to be people with different ideas in your constituency, but everyone should be kind of calling in, hey, this is how we feel. And then he should be able to make a choice based off that. That's how it's supposed to work anyway in a democracy, I'm assuming, or a democratic republic. But I feel like we've got it backwards where we like elect these cult of personalities and then they just do whatever they do once we elect them. Like there's no accountability during their time. They're like their only time of accountability.
Well,
is
their
like
accountability is when they're up for
season.
re-election.
Yeah.
But if we don't ever make them pay, then
Or
it's
we
our
don't
fault.
pay attention to individual votes that are happening in between. Really, we're like,
Yeah.
well, he didn't
They don't
ruin
really let us
everything.
know about that. Like, we need John Oliver to break it down every week. Like, boom, this is what happened in your state. Boom, this is what happened at the national level.
I was thinking about I guess it's weird to say like the government, but like there being some sort of app to where you can type in your address and it would automatically link you to all of the local legislative things in your area, then you could also see when things are coming up to vote.
There's probably government websites that have that.
I'm saying something that's more condensed to where, like, you know what I'm saying, there you don't have to go to this website and then look at the federal, like something where you can check everything like in a tiered level, like local, state, because obviously like everyone in your state could just access the state part, you know, and then everyone could access the federal part. Those things could be pretty much uniformly for everybody. The only individualized thing is more the local areas, but it's all still on just like one platform that you can check through. And I mean, just like if we want people to be informed, we've got to make it as easy as possible. And then the tough part is sometimes it's hard to even understand the wording of a law. And then even understanding the wording, how would this law, what would it look like in action? You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be able to give, like, because I mean, ideally you would like to say, well, if we don't do it, this is what it's going to look like. And then if we do it, this is what it's going to look like on this law, if you vote either way. But it's hard to find it would hard to get like an unbiased version of that. So, but that would be some ideal information to have and all these things. And something like you can just download an app on your phone and check up on shit. Get notifications if you want for local shit coming on. So, stuff like that. Or you could pick like specific issues that you want. Like you're really into the economics, so like that's where you think things are the most. You know, everyone's got their like, you know, little pet issue. You can get notifications, shit like that. Just an idea, just like that. Are you hot?
Am I hot? No, I'm not.
I'm hot as fuck right now.
I'm trying to think of the specific verbiage used on this Instagram post. It was like a comment under a post, and my reptile brain thinks that the post had something to do with like some sort of secularism. And the person was like, do you really think that, you know, if we didn't have this, people wouldn't go around murdering everybody? And it's like, yeah, social contract theory.
Oh yeah, also like basically saying like, even if there wasn't religion, that doesn't mean people would just go around raping and pillaging.
Not everybody practices the religion that you do, or any at all, and still they're not doing the thing that you say that they would do if you didn't have this religion or this set of morals.
I've heard this argument, and then they'll say, even if you don't say it out loud, you're still living your life through Judeo-Christian values that have been instilled in you from the time of birth.
Sure, but those values were also adopted from other things for the most part.
Other things, and have changed over time.
And for the most part, they make sense. They're all rational and logical. Don't attack your neighbor and don't kill anybody. Like,
well, like the
you
Ten
and your neighbor
Commandments
are
stuff.
both best off if you don't kill each other, because you don't have to worry about them killing you. And
it's too much stress to have someone that close to you.
You don't have to worry about attacking
them.
them. And so you know that, okay, well, if anyone else tries to attack you, that this person will probably also help you.
And like, do not covet thy neighbor's wife. Hey, you don't want all that drama where you live. You know what I'm saying? You don't because you don't want to have to worry about attacking your neighbor or your neighbor attacking you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just all stuff that makes sense. Like if you want to live a life where you're not constantly looking over your shoulder and afraid and.
But what about beer on Sunday?
Yeah,
Before
I mean,
12:30.
obviously, if
You
you,
know,
have it before
bring this
12,
full
if you
circle.
buy it before 12:30, it's different than if you drink it. Or if you already had it, you bought it like Saturday night or any other day of the week, any other fucking hour. Or like other states, like if you cross a straight state line, then there's like this magic whoosh that happens. And
But what happens if you still have
Physics
alcohol in your
change.
system for the night before? So it's the Sunday. It's not 12:30 yet. You haven't drank on that day, but you drank a shit ton right before midnight, and you're still shit faced. Are you a sinner?
well, we're all born sinners.
Or like, who's worse, the guy who's still shit faced at 10, or the guy who had his first beer of the day at 10?
Equally bad. As our newborn babies.
Woo! Damn. As our new
All going to hell.
all going to Hades.
No hell.
Oh hell.
To burn for eternity in a lake of fire.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Fire and brimstone.
Mm-mm-mm.
Eternal damnation.
Puppies too?
Yeah, they don't have souls.
Oh,
What are you talking about? It's just humans.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So everything else goes to hell. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
That's what they get for not thinking of it first.
You know, in a lot of places, we would have had to clarify that we were joking, for people to know that we were joking. And then
I'm not joking.
I was just gonna say, then you could do what you just did, and then would make it even more vague, and then people are like, wait, what? Huh?
Dead serious. You're going to hell.
Going to Hades if you're a newborn baby.
Hell. You're going to hell.
So you just have to make it to toddler stage?
Well, as soon as you can start accepting Christ, yeah.
Ah.
That's when you're safe.
No, newborn babies are still innocent. They're innocent. They
No,
haven't
you're
sinned yet.
born. You're no. Don't you know about fuck, what's it called? Original sin.
Oh, so Adam and Eve did that to us,
I guess so. Yeah.
and the sin's generational.
Yep. As soon as you're born,
I feel like that's
you can be baptized.
I feel like that's more of a Catholic
Hey,
thought process
They're there
specifically.
they got the true word of God.
The Pope.
Yeah, they got a spokesman. They got
Some
a president.
guy said that God told him that he was the man.
They got a world president.
Some other guys decided that this guy was the guy from God. Huh?
Yeah. He didn't know it for most of his life.
But then they all decided, and then like, oh yeah.
And then in 10 years, he'll be a saint for performing 3 miracles after he died. Miracles, not great occurrences.
And
Miracles.
it'd be a religious object just to have his finger in a little box. You can get blessed just by touching the box.
To your box.
This says paint St. Peter's left pinky finger.
I flicked the bean with St. Pete. St. Peter!
Ooh.
Put St.
funny.
Pete in my stank.
Whew. Yeah, it is rather warm. Let's see where we're at. Oh, we're at over an hour, man.
Over an hour? Well, I
Yeah.
guess we can wrap it up. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Oof, I don't know. I feel like I got hot from all that political talk.
Yeah, you get a little fired up, man. It's
do.
hard for me to get a word in edgewise.
Sorry. It's something I get
I had
get
some
up about.
pretty well thought out philosophical, ancient philosophical thought.
We'll come back to it next
Yeah.
time.
I've been listening to a lot of philosophy lately. I'm on Hegel right now.
Okay,
Still,
so you got some
still not super modern, but more modern than like Socrates and Plato and Aristotle.
Okay.
The sophists, all them. So we're getting there.
Okay, yeah, we'll get on that. We'll
Been
come
challenging a
right
lot of
back to
my
it. We can talk
a
about
lot of my
whatever.
own thoughts.
You know, I thought about I was listening to JRE, and just he was recently talking again about how they started off, but like he just did it and saying like he didn't care if anybody was watching or not.
Right.
So I definitely want to keep that spirit of like not trying to. I mean, obviously, kind of want to be entertaining, but I don't want to be like feel like I just want to do what I like, and then if people like it, they like it. If not, I just like doing this.
Right. Yeah.
You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
we just keep coming here and doing this. We're pretty certain that nobody's really watching. So at this point, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
But-
at this point, but that's how it grows.
But in
But
the
I want to
future,
make sure
some
I
people
keep
could
that
go back
spirit.
and watch them, and we might pick up some
Mm.
people over time. It takes some time for these things to spread out. So
Well, yeah, and I'm just saying,
keep
like,
doing it.
it's easy to start getting like wrapped up in, like, what do we need to do to the podcast? To get the views up. Instead of just relax and just it is what it is.
Right.
Don't try to work it into something that'll get 10 million views, but you would hate doing it every week, or you know what I'm saying? It would just be a job.
Right.
Gotta go in there and fake the funk so we can keep these advertisers. So you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So, but alrighty, yeah, let's wrap this up. I'm Alex Ortiz. Catch me on in real life in my room, Xbox, and
What's your gamer tag?
gamer
Jesus
tag.
Christ.
Sick
Promote
with it
yourself.
71 and Private Taxi. I've got 2 gamer tags. Hit me up on Private Taxi. You can catch all the hot takes there too.
That's for when he finally figured out how to play the game.
Which one?
He started over Private Taxi.
Yeah.
You figure it out on Sick With It, and your score's all fucked up. Your ratio is all shitty.
Well,
so then,
yeah, the MMR that was built into the game, I wanted to get a reset on that so it wouldn't influence my rankings. But
it's fucking cheating, is what he's saying.
there was a lot of people that accused me of cheating when I started.
Yeah, man.
Because you got to go like the first 25 levels before you can even do ranked. And so I'm on there with like other people who are level like 12, like basically just noobs, and I'm just murdering people. People are like sending me messages like, "I just reported you," and shit like that.
You're too good.
Dude, I swear to God, people will send you messages like "reported,"
Yeah.
and I'll be like, "What are you talking about?"
Cheating ass.
But no, this is even like recently. Like this is in fair but matchmaking. Like it's based on skill level. So we're all the same skill level, and they'll still be like sending you messages saying that you're reported. And I'll just be like, dude, I just happened to fuck you up this time. Dude.
Yeah, just fucking chill
It just
out,
is.
nerd.
It is what it is. You saw it. You went through the effort of reporting me.
Go for a run.
Because I was fucking you up. Because imagine like and a lot of times it's just like one of those like say you got a character that's got like some one shot kill. They
Sounds
might just
unfair.
happen to like be that person that comes out like 2 or 3 times in a row and you just catch them every time. Luckily, it's not like necessarily that you're all that great, but you just happen to catch them, and they'll be like, "This motherfucker cheated every time I pop my head out." Then you're reported because you're using a aimbot or something. But anyway, I digress again.
You know what? I got $70 for Guitar Center. I might get another pair of headphones, and then we can both have a headset.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I think we miss sometimes a lot of what the other's saying, or parts of it, important parts of what the other one's saying, just because it's hard to hear when we're both talking.
I see what you're saying.
But if we had like the amplified version of both of us going directly into our ears, with like the outside kind of canceled out.
Makes sense. Okay, yeah.
I might do that. How you feel about that?
That sounds good. I was thinking about going ahead and ordering a camera. I don't know about ordering 2, but definitely 1.
I mean, we could still use. We'll see. We'll see how the pictures look, and if the difference is, too drastic, then obviously we won't
Stick
do
with
it.
1
But
for now.
it might be okay to like use this one as like a room camera, and the other one as more of a
I see what you're saying.
more of a close up. I don't know. We'll figure some shit out, but.
Okay, yeah. But alrighty, let's sign off.
All right, yeah. You wrapped up on your social media and all that, all your promotions and this, that, and the other. I got my demo home out on all platforms, all streaming services, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, Apple
That's
Music,
fire.
iTunes. Check it out. It's just 3 songs.
Flames.
If you want to buy it, you can, but it's totally free.
Inferno.
I got more coming out, I don't know, sometime in a few months. Starting to work on it now, so
Other
that's what
words
we
that
got
have to do
going
with
on.
fire.
Catch me out Facebook.com/music.devereaux. That's DEVEREAUX. You can find me on Instagram at Old Devereaux. Also Twitter at Old Devereaux or Devereaux. I'm not sure. Fucking just look me up. It's all there.
Catch y'all later.
If you got anything for us, send it to us at Pelican Jack Podcast at gmail.com. We love you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Peace.